Hello class, a very pleasant morning to all of you. Today, I Raja Parekh from St. Thomas High School, Mahua, am here to further continue with the subject of social science for the students of class 7th. Today, my dear students, we are going to further continue with the chapter number 7, that is following the Mahatma part 1. In the previous lecture, we studied about Kheda Satyagraha and Champaran Satyagraha. So today we are going to start with Rowlatt Act and Rowlatt Satyagraha 1919. England was victorious in the World War I. At the same time, Rowlatt Act was implemented by the Britishers to control the public unrest and control the anti-colonial activities. Rowlatt Act authorized the government to exercise stricter control on the press, arrest without warrant, and indefinite detention in the jail without trial. The accused were denied the right to know the accusers and the evidence used in the trial against them. This act was a complete violation of the fundamental rights and freedom of expression and speech. Gandhiji protested against this act and called it a Black Act. So here, what was Rowlatt Act? When England won during the World War I, the Rowlatt Act was implemented by the Britishers in order to control the public and also the anti-colonial activities, that means the activities which were in against of them. The Rowlatt Act was authorized by the government to exercise, that means to have the strict control over the press, also on the people, that they can be arrested without warrant and also indefinite detention in the jail without trial. That means they can be kept in jail without any trials in the court. The accused, that means the person who was arrested, was not allowed to know the accusers, that means the person, those who have filed against complaint against them, and also the evidences which were used in order to prove them guilty in the trial. And hence this act was a complete violation, that means it was used in order to snatch away the rights and the duties of the citizen, and also the freedom of expression and speech were not given. Therefore, Gandhiji protested against this act and it was considered as the Black Act. Rowlatt Satyagraha was the first struggle of the entire nation against the Britishers. It was limited to the big cities only. Rallies or processions were organized and strikes were called out to protest against this act throughout the country. The Britishers resorted the suppressions to curb this movement, and hence this was the first struggle where the entire nation came together in order to protest against the Britishers, and it was limited to big cities only, but the rallies were organized in order to protest against this act throughout the country, and the Britishers resorted, that means they tried to stop this movement. Now let's study about Jallianwala Bagh massacres in 1919. As the part of the protest against the Rowlatt Act, the people of Punjab announced a strike on 30th March and 6th April 1990. The condition of Amritsar was almost out of control, and looking at this, martial law was declared in Amritsar. A meeting was organized on 13th April on the day of Baisakhi in Jallianwala Bagh to pay tribute to the martyrs and also protest against the arrest of Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Khichlu. Approximate 10,000 people had gathered in this meeting. General Dyer blocked the only exit of the Bagh and ordered firing at the unarmed people gathered there. The firing started without any prior notice or warning. There were high walls around it, so people could not escape the constant firing. It stopped only when the soldiers ran out of ammunition. As per the official records, 379 died and 1200 were injured, but in the reality, the casualties were much more than that mentioned in the official reports. Gandhiji completely lost his faith in the British sense of justice and fairness. So, Jallianwala Bagh massacres. It happened in as a part of the protest against the Rowlatt Act. The people of Punjab had gathered in order to pay tribute to Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Khichlu, and also protest they were ready to pay the tribute to the martyrs. On 13th of April, that means on the day of Baisakhi, a meeting was held in order to discuss and in order to organize a proper committee. Approximate 10,000 people had gathered over there in the meeting. At that time, the British official Dr. General Dyer blocked the only exit of the Bagh and ordered the firing at unarmed people. That means the people were not having any arms or ammunitions with them. At that time, the Britishers blocked the way and fired, and they started continuously firing without any notice. So there were high walls, so the people could not easily escape from that thing, and hence many people died over there, and the British soldiers stopped only when they ran out of ammunitions. So as per the official records, the number of the casualties were much more, and hence this was the act through which Gandhiji completely lost their faith in the sense in the sense of justice and fairness of the Britishers. So my dear students, here we are at the end of today's video. In the very next class, we will be discussing about the Khilafat movement and non-cooperation movement. Thank you and have a nice day.